Welcome to Fantasy Baseball Picks and Bets, presented as always by Prize Picks. JT Hayes at JT Hayes Jr. on Twitter.com with Run Pure Sports. Look, it's the middle of August. We're about 3/4 of the way through the baseball season. And if you've been watching our videos, if you've been paying attention, you've been profiting and understand that on Prize Picks using DraftKings fantasy point scoring, they set a line, our job to pick the over or under of points that player is going to score on that night. And if you haven't gotten started already, don't worry. It's not too late because, like I said, got about another month and a half of baseball season. Then we get right into the National Football League season. Very excited for that. Get started at prizepicks.com. Use code MMNMLB. That's MMN like Mayo Media Network, MLB. And you'll get a $100 deposit match on your first deposit, courtesy of the Mayo Media Network, which you should already be subscribed to. Like this video, if you haven't for some reason subscribed to the Mayo Media Network already, do so right now so you can continue to take advantage of the content that we provide every single day of the week and for almost every sport, baseball, PGA, and like I said, with the NFL, and then shortly thereafter, the NBA coming up after that. MMN MLB, get your $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com. Monday, travel day in Major League Baseball. Just a small 5-game slate on DraftKings. It does begin about an hour early on the East Coast, 6:10 Eastern Time. But Prize Picks, they always just take care of us. They've got a bunch of selections up and several that I think are fairly easy for us to take advantage of, beginning right off the bat with the New York Yankees. Heading into Kansas City, they're going to take on the Royals and Carlos Hernandez. The Royals played a long game, interrupted by a 2-hour rain delay. They did escape with the win in St. Louis, so it's not a terrible travel back home, just over the state line, as I understand it, into Kansas City. But Carlos Hernandez is going to be starting for the Royals. Been really good, but Carlos Hernandez allowing a 193 isolated power to left-handed hitters. It's going to be hot in Kansas City, just like it is all throughout the Midwest right now. There's going to be a wind blowing out of that park. It can play a little small, and as we know, the Yankees have acquired a couple of left-handed hitting power guys. Joey Gallo, the over-under set at 7.5 in this matchup. As good as Carlos Hernandez has been, I think it's a different thing to take on this Yankee lineup in the heat, and I'm going to go with the over here on Joey Gallo, over 7.5. Another interesting matchup here on Monday night, the Milwaukee Brewers leading the National League Central. They head into Chicago to take on the Cubs, who sold off almost all of their veteran pieces, and looks like it's going to be perhaps a win game. It's not going to be very hot. It's going to be in the high 70s, but looks like there could be a 10-mile-per-hour wind blowing out to dead center field. Alec Mills will be on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Alec Mills himself allowing a 242 isolated power average to left-handed hitters. If Rowdy Tellez is in the lineup, Rowdy's been hitting the ball very well of late, and I like him to take Alec Mills out of the yard here. So that 7 fantasy point line for Rowdy Tellez, I'm going to take the over there on prizepicks.com and think that he is going to easily beat that number. A couple of other picks I like going out west. San Diego, they get to stay home, take on the Miami Marlins. Miami also sold off a number of pieces at the trade deadline. They're coming out of Colorado. They're coming out of altitude. It's a spot I always like to target for the opposing pitcher. In this case, it's Joe Musgrove. Don't have a line on him yet, but keep your eyes open because I might post something on runpuresports.com tomorrow, depending on what comes out. But in this game, I think the Padres staying home, getting to take on whether it's Trevor Rogers or Zach Thompson, both of these guys, younger pitchers that the Marlins have clearly been reining in their pitch counts, and then they're going to get a very tired bullpen that got completely taxed over the weekend in Colorado with the Rockies just going to town on this team. Jake Cronenworth and Adam Frazier, left-handed hitters, should be in this lineup. The over-under for both of these guys set at 7.5. I think the Padres get right here in a big way against the Marlins in this series, and I will take the over on them Monday night. Now, I'm recording this Sunday night. Things could change. That's why you should always, if you're not already a member at runpuresports.com, come over, join the movement. And we've got a new promo code at Run Pure Sports, RPS NFL 15. It's not 15% off of your first month's payment or your first year's payment. It's 15% off of your subscription for life. So you sign up now, lock that rate in. The rate won't change, and you'll always have the 15% discount, runpuresports.com, because things are always going to change. And guess what? We have an absolutely dedicated channel to prizepicks.com in our Discord. Once again, runpuresports.com, enter code RPSNFL15. The pennant races are starting to heat up here, just like I said, a couple of months, maybe a month and a half to be exact, left in the Major League Baseball season. And unfortunately this week, shades of 2020, a number of teams suffering losses to the COVID-19 injured list, among them the New York Yankees, Anthony Rizzo, a new acquisition, as well as Garrett Cole, their ace, and Jordan Montgomery on the COVID-19 IL. The good news is all of the players who have gone on so far have come off and have come off healthy and recovered from the COVID variants that they're suffering. The Brewers and the Red Sox also placing players on the COVID-19 IL. JD Martinez coming off on Sunday to have a pretty big game against the Toronto Blue Jays. So something to keep an eye on as these players move on and off of the injured list. The protocols thankfully working as intended. And in that same game, JD Martinez having a good game here, but how about the Toronto Blue Jays? They're home in the Sky Dome finally after almost 2 years. Oh, Canada! They were singing that all weekend long as they took 3 of 4 from the Boston Red Sox. George Springer, he has been on fire, finally healthy. Man, just incredible to see the power in this Toronto Blue Jays lineup. George Springer on Sunday, a 3-run go-ahead home run against the Boston Red Sox. Just an absolute no-doubter. And that stadium went crazy. They put on the blue jacket, as they call it, in Toronto. The blue jacket when a player hits a home run. Incredible. They are 60-50, just 7 games back in the American League East as they take 3 of 4 once again from Boston, and winners of 4 of 5. Going to be really interesting. Tampa Bay leading the American League East, followed closely by Boston, the Yankees, and then the Toronto Blue Jays. Going to be a photo finish there in the American League East. And hey, I don't know. I watch a lot of baseball. I watch maybe more baseball than is healthy for a human being. I don't know. And if you're a baseball fan, you watch as much as I do, you probably noticed something odd going on these last couple of weeks with the pitchers and catchers and signs. Bunch of pitchers, you see this, they're standing on the mound, they're holding up, is it 3, is it 2? Which set of signs are we using? We saw this in particular with teams that acquired some new players. We saw it with Max Scherzer in his first start, where he absolutely dominated the Astros. Didn't think that he was going to do that well in the first start. And then we saw it with Chris Bassett, a game I was watching because I was heavily invested in Chris Bassett for the Oakland A's. But you know, the St. Louis Cardinals take it to another level. Now, in the midst of walking, I think it was 18 Atlanta Braves hitters in a row with the bases loaded to completely give away a game, it was Alex Reyes on the map. He's taking off his hat. He's looking into the catcher, holding up 3, holding up 2. We've seen everything when it comes to pitchers and catchers. We've seen guys have their personal catcher. We've seen catchers paint their fingernails for pitchers who couldn't see the signs. Haven't seen that in a while. But this new thing of the index card in the hat or in the back pocket, and when Alex Reyes finally, mercifully, was lifted from that game by Mike Schill, all of the Cardinals infielders came into the center of the diamond, the pitching mound, and they were all holding these index cards. I mean, how difficult can it be? I mean, how bad could it be? They cracked down on the video, right? Is it just not 1 fastball, 2 curveball, 3 off speed anymore? I mean, can we get a little bit more simplified, especially for a team that's had the worst bullpen all season long in the St. Louis Cardinals? Maybe that's something that they can work on over the course of the next month and a half as they try to get back into the race and remain relevant for the rest of the season. And then baseball is such a great sport, and the universe of baseball. The teams, the minor leagues, the whole setup, so much different from every professional sport. I was researching a minor league pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels last week, and I came across something that I now consider my favorite minor league team, just because of the name. I don't know if you've heard of this franchise, but now that I've heard of it, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to make the trek. It's only about 3 hours from where I am in Atlanta to Madison, Alabama, because I want to see the Rocket City Trash Pandas. That's right, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, the AA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels, the greatest baseball franchise name that I have ever heard. And look, they're hot. They won 26-3 over Chattanooga today. Incredible. On Sunday. You're watching this Monday. It was yesterday. Rocket City Trash Pandas. Here I come. On to the Daily Fantasy Sports 5-game slate. We're going to use DraftKings pricing here. And for a 5-game slate, there's a surprising number of high-end pitchers going on the mound. It's going to be Luis Castillo. He's going to be pitching in Cleveland. You've got Freddie Peralta, who's going to be pitching in Chicago. But my favorite guys here are Lucas Giolito for the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox coming off of a big win at the Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball. They go into Minnesota. Lucas Giolito up and down on the season. In fact, really, really down in his last start against Kansas City at home. 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, and as a result, you're going to get a little bit of a discount on Giolito, just 9.3K on DraftKings. On the season, he's got a 28% strikeout rate. Minnesota, lots of power, a lot of power that got to Lance McCullers on Sunday, but also a lot of swing and miss. You know, they travel from Houston into Minnesota, and I just like this spot for Giolito, a perfect bounce back spot here. The Twins starting Bo Burrows, and it's basically a bullpen game for the Twins. I think that the White Sox are going to put up some runs, and I think Lucas Giolito is going to be able to get an easy win here. So at 9.3, I think the value is here at the top end of pitching as opposed to guys like Castillo or Peralta. I'm not saying that they're terrible picks. Obviously, we'll have a whole lot more up on runpuresports.com tomorrow in terms of how we evaluate the top tier of pitching. But as of right now, as I record this, Lucas Giolito draws my eye with that 9.3K price point in a matchup and in a park that he has done very well in. Then looking a little bit lower, obviously, there's a lot of good matchups down below. Joe Musgrove, priced down a little bit, 8.5. He's at home in a matchup against the Marlins coming out of altitude from Colorado. But I'm not going to go with Musgrove here. Here, I'm looking to Jameson Taillon. Jameson Taillon getting a $2,200 price drop on DraftKings after pitching really, really well in his last 3 games. 19 innings pitched, 19 strikeouts, just 3 earned runs. Yes, we're talking about Baltimore, we're talking about Miami, but we're also talking about a game against the Boston Red Sox. And Taillon goes into Kansas City, takes on a team that really not just playing out the string, but there's so much swing and miss here in this lineup, especially the back end of this lineup, that it's just 7-8 with the Yankees getting a good opportunity against Carlos Hernandez and a mediocre bullpen for Taillon to get the win here. I like Jameson Taillon at just 7.8. So Lucas Giolito, 9.3 in Minnesota. Jameson Taillon on the road in Kansas City at 7.8. And then we move to offense. As I mentioned, Cincinnati going into Cleveland. They're going to be taking on Sam Hentges. Sam Hentges, expected ERA on the year of 6.13. That's 6 runs per 9 innings. He gives up 1.41 home runs per 9 innings and a 12% barrel rate. And some of these guys on Cincinnati, not all of them, obviously, as you've seen the prices on some of these guys go way up over the last couple of weeks. The reason why is because Cincinnati, over the last couple of weeks, a 113 weighted runs creation plus to go along with a 191 isolated power. But Jonathan India at 4.8. Nick Castellanos back healthy, finally. Hit a huge home run over the weekend. He's just 4.0 on DraftKings. Eugenio Suarez also hitting a home run in that weekend series against the Pirates. He's also just 4.0 on DraftKings. Those are 3 guys that I'm going to look at here in this matchup in Cleveland against Sam Hentges and a below average of recent middle of that Cleveland Indians bullpen. And then I'm going to go out to San Diego. Like I said, Marlins coming back down to San Diego out of altitude, out of Colorado. It's either going to be Trevor Rogers or Zach Thompson is what it looks like. Going to start this game for Miami. These guys really good in the beginning of the season, but they're rookies. And I think Rogers is in his second year, but they didn't throw a lot of innings last year, and it looks like they may be facing a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of velocity drop over their last couple of starts, and they just haven't been going long. And as I mentioned, the Miami bullpen completely walloped over the weekend in Colorado. I like the San Diego Padres here quite a bit, starting with Adam Frazier. I think he is underpriced at $3.5K at the top of that lineup. I also think Jake Cronenworth is underpriced. Jake hit a home run on Sunday afternoon, 4.0 for him. And then the big dog, the guy who's got to step up really soon here to keep these Padres afloat as they wait to determine what's going to happen with Fernando Tatis Jr. for the rest of the season. Manny Machado, he's expensive at 5.9, but I think this is a really, really good matchup. I might have a little bit more interest if Trevor Rogers is starting this game, but either way, I think that Manny Machado is going to make his way into a lot of my lineups on Monday night. We'll wrap it all up with just a couple of bet lines up that I like for Monday night. As I mentioned, the White Sox going into Minnesota, taking on Bo Burrows for a Minnesota bullpen game. Minnesota bullpen game usually means that a lot of runs are going to be scored by the opposite team. And right now, the run line for the White Sox at the DraftKings Sportsbook, they've got minus 1.5 runs at minus 105. That's a number that I think has a ton of value here, as I expect the White Sox to roll over this Minnesota Twins team on Monday night. Another one talked about how I like the Padres against the Marlins bullpen in particular. With the Marlins coming out of altitude, San Diego Padres minus 1.5 runs, minus 115. Think there is a ton of value there. Of course, with bets, things are going to change. Lines are going to change. We're going to see where the money is going throughout the day. That's why, in addition to RunPureSports.com, RunPureBets.com, I've got on my bet shirt tonight. RunPureBets. Use the same code, RPSNFL15, 15% off of your subscription for life. They track all of their bets so you can see exactly how well they are doing, and they all do pretty well. They've got pick bets up throughout the day. They've got fantasy bets as well as future bets that are at RunPureBets.com. RunPureBets, RunPureSports.com. Things may change. Again, we've got a whole Discord channel dedicated to Prize Picks. There'll be chatter going on all day long. We'll have some analytics going up there in the middle of the day from one of our contributors, and we'll have for tomorrow night's Major League Baseball slate a playbook, core plays. We'll have a slate strategy. Actually, I'll have a slate strategy that I'll be putting together sometime about an hour before the slate lock. Slate lock, again, is early on Monday at 6:10 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, our Discord goes on 24/7. People talking about the plays, our coordinators, the owners of our site, who also play and do very well at Daily Fantasy Sports, will be in there giving their opinions, sharing their core plays, sharing who they're going to be overweight or underweight on. Good luck on Monday night, and run pure in those contests.